It's talking about the uh, object destructuring of unpacking objects into variable in JavaScript. Let's look at an object property alias in the example that follows. Object properties alias. So we want to use an example in order to understand what an object property alias is in JavaScript. So the same person object and first name, first mark. So it's usually no, it's not equals to this column. Then ask me to be to blessing which to be 60 years. So this is my person's object. Contains our three properties: the first name, the last name, and the age. Now I want to destructure only the first name and its value from this last name, name, now equals to person's objects. Now I want to display primitive values. Document dot get elements by id dot inner html equals to name. And now look at what we have. You can see this. So we can see blessing as the output. So what we are basically doing here is that we are giving our property an alias. So okay, this last name should represent the name of this object. It should represent the name of the properties of this object. So it's just it's will still work if we take out the alias. Now you can see if I remove that name, this is no longer working, right? And that is because of the fact that this alias is no longer available in my variable destructuring. So if I just pass in the last name directly like this, now you can see that it will work even without the alias. So the alias can just be likened to something we call a label, like the where you will give a label to something to identify that this particular thing does this particular thing. So this is what an object property alias is. So even without an alias, it will still work. But you can see that with this alias, so it makes it looks like it has a label particularly to it. So it can be for first name as well. I mean, you can have this as first name and says, you know, give it an alias name of person. And here, once I update it, this will still work. So your alias can be anything to represent or to label whatever value you are restructuring or whatever element or property that you are unpacking from your object into a variable. So this is an object property alias in JavaScript. So let's move on and talk about string restructuring. One use for destructuring is unpacking string characters. So we've seen how you can use the structuring to unpack objects into variables. So now we want to look at how you can use it for string as well. So let's look at an example of this in my code editor. So here we are talking about string destructuring. So let's take a look at an example of how you can use the structuring for string in JavaScript. So let's say let's name equals to for now. And now I want to do the structure. Let's so I want to pack all these values into a square brackets to represent an array. For 1, 5 equals to me. Now I want to display value document dot get elements by hiding demo one dot inner HTML equals to one. Now look at what we have now. So I am representing each letters that have a as an index position in this. You can see this square bracket which represent array structuring kind of. You can see so it will pick each of the value and then it will use this to represent their index position. For example, we can see that at the position 1 we have C. So if I change this from A1 to A2, let's see what happens. A1 to A2. You can see it has changed to another number. So A5 should be, I think F, yeah, which is correct. So A1, A2, A3, A4, A5. So and so on and so forth. So if you want to continue to use this to get each letter of the variable that we have here. So we can destructure a string just as the way we're able to destructure an object and unpack it into a variable. You can see the way we did it for string just now. So by you know by using these properties that we have in that inside these square brackets, we were able to use this to represent the index position of each element of what we have as the value for our string. And you can see this that A1 to A5 correspond to each letter of the string that we have as the value of our variable. So this is how you can use the structuring for string in JavaScript. Now note structuring can be used with any iterable. So iterables like the for loop, the while loop, those are iterables and you can use the structuring with any of them without any problem. So this is how you can use the structuring to unpack string characters.